Trevor, and tonight we are joined by Alex. Alex, how you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo.
And we're also joined by Andy. Andy, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Trev, I'm good. It's a great day.
Great day as well. And let me tell you, we're here. We're live. This is the first, I think, we are live edition of Stir the Pod, doing a nice recap preview show of Double Agents. I'm very excited. I know you guys are very excited. Got some rookies, got some vets. For some reason, I didn't see Johnny Bananas on the list. Was that like a mess up or something?
Where was he? That.
Yeah, we'll jump in to that, but feel free. We are on Twitter, on Periscope right now. Any questions, we will dive right into those. Send into the chat. But yeah, with that being said, I say we just dive right into the good old Double Agents preview show.
Let's do it.
All right, so Alex, you want to take it away? How should we start this? We should probably start with the rooks, right?
Yeah. We'll start with just a one by one of every cast member. Kind of talk about our expectations for them. Any hookups or drama that we might see for them. Literally just go one by one through the cast, and then we'll talk about the trailer. Our predictions, things like that. So I think we'll start with the girls, and we'll start with the rookie girls. Is that fair? We'll start with the rookie girls, knock them out, and then move to some of the vets because we kind of rank them a little bit. So let's start off, and we want to kind of start off with the rookies because most of them, I would say, we have really no idea how they're going to do. But we will start with, I would say, the one rookie that we do know of, Lolo Jones. She's back. She was on one of the spinoff seasons. We just recapped that one on Stir the Pod. What do we feel about Lolo being back? So like I said, the other rookies, I'm sure we will fly through them, but Lolo Jones, she's good.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have Lolo Jones back. Olympic medalist, obviously. And like we talked about in the Champs vs. Pros, Champs vs. Stars, whatever, forget even the name of it. But, she was explosive. She was going, button heads with literally her entire team throughout the season. I believe what she do? 3 eliminations she was into. She's a great cast member to have. I'm curious to see kind of how she kind of plays this game. Is she going to start talking to the CTs, Wes's of the world that she's familiar with, or kind of, staying away from, the vets? So it's kind of an interesting rookie that I see. Will she, join the rookie squad or, kind of stay with those vets? So I don't know. What do you think, Andy?
She's beast. Plain and simple. She's going to be tough for any girl to compete with. I think the only thing that's her biggest.
Think we lost him there for a sec?
All right. So
Lolo Jones, what do you have to say, Alex?
Well, I'm just trying to think back to all of the people from the spinoff that would have been on this season now. So like Darrell, Wes, CT, like she's met them all, right?
Yeah, she's met them all. Andy, I think you're back in now. We lost you there for a sec. Can you hear us now?
Yes, you got me?
Yeah, you're there. So what were you saying?
Lolo's a beast, but I think she's a bit of a head case. And I think if anything's going to be her downfall, it's going to be that. The only thing that I think could save her is it seems like this format could be all over the place. And if it is any sort of free agents type of aspect where you're kind of fighting for yourself, she's going to be a tough one to take out.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, we don't know the format. Is that correct? It's not like the way I kind of saw it was, I don't know if it was just the classic all black look. I kind of got those free agent vibes. I don't know about you, but the whole double agents, like, are they? It's set, when we hear double agents, I think we think of teams basically, and you can kind of join like very Jordan-esque joining the UK team, but that's kind of hush hush, and you don't know about it. That's kind of how I hear it, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think there was also one line in the trailer where I forget exactly what they said, but it made me to believe that there might be like pairs like throughout the season, and then maybe you like change your partners or something. Somebody said something in the trailer about like choosing or switching your partners, but I think at the end of the day, I think it is an individual game.
Gotta love that. So, we talked about Lolo. Who else do we got this rookie class?
So we got 2 rookie girls named Amber. Let's see. One of them is from Big Brother. One of them's from Are You the One? I don't know anything about these girls. I had some people tweeted at us about the Big Brother one. Let's see. It's Amber B, I guess, is from Big Brother. People were tweeting at us saying that she did pretty well in Big Brother. Obviously, I feel like Big Brother people in the challenge are kind of hit or miss. I'm trying to see right now what her finish is. I don't know how they do that. It looks like she actually finished. It looks like she finished like 5th to last, so not really that good. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm reading it. Ella Henderson 7. Thank you for tweeting at us. She kind of wrote that she went out early in Big Brother because she rejected this one guy in her short time, but she won 3, like, I guess, individual competitions, which obviously is huge in this game. So, alliances, and we'll see kind of how that plays out for her in this game. So.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the Big Brothers coming in the challenge. I always feel like they're kind of destined for failure. But
one other thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm starting to see these rookies, and I'm seeing their shows, the Big Brothers, the Are You the Ones of the world. We're kind of used to that now, but I feel like if you look at this cast list, there has to be at least at least 8 different shows. Like, if you just count Real World by itself, Are You the One, like Shipwrecked, like WWE, like we're just all over the place now. It's not like, the classic Are You the One versus, I remember like 5 seasons ago, which seems like, forever ago, but it was just basically, it's going to be Are You the One versus the Real World. And now it's like, what are we doing here? Like, we're getting people. I mean, Lolo Jones, I guess she was on, Champs for Stars, but like Nam Vo, which we'll get into, like Ultimate Beastmaster 1, like what? Like, what is that? So I thought that was kind of interesting,
People forget it used to be Real World Road Rules.
Yeah, that's
people
it.
Forget that.
Yeah.
There was one thing about Lolo that I forgot to mention is I saw it on Twitter, so it's verified. But I saw someone say that she, I think, is going to make history by being the oldest rookie, because I think she's 38. And obviously, like, she's been on the show before, but I think she's 38, and she'll be the first or the youngest rookie, kind of like when Brandon Weeden was like 30 when he got drafted by the Browns or whatever. So just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah.
The other Amber Martinez, she's from Are You the One? I don't think we got any real tweets on her or anything. She looks pretty bad. She looks kind of like Sylvia in a way, an upgraded Sylvia.
I thought the same.
That's about all I got on Amber Martinez.
Can only hope she's not as bad as Sylvia. Oh my God.
People forget Sylvia got second, though. People do forget that. Could have won, even though that season was terrible. But who else do we got?
So we got we got 3 more rookie girls. I'm just let's just talk about all 3, and then get onto the vets, because I think that's where the majority of the episode's going to be. We got Gabby Island. I think she's the blonde girl or Gabby Allen, who is from Love Island. I think she's the blonde girl who looks kind of like Melissa, so I ain't mad at that. You have Natalie Anderson, who I've seen a lot of. She was from Amazing Race. I've seen a lot of people tweeting about her. It looks like Natalie. Wait. All right, hold on. I just pulled up the Wikipedia page for this Amazing Race season. It looks like Natalie was on the show with her sister. Her sister got voted out first, and Natalie somehow stayed. Unlike Bloodlines, she stayed and won $1 million.
Interesting.
So that's Natalie.
All right.
Oosh.
I think we'll get into it, but rankings wise, with mine including, I think I had her the highest, believe it or not. I could be wrong on that, but I had no idea. Like, this rookie class is just a complete, hoop. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing about like Natalie, and I think a few other people that we'll get to. I mean, you can be great at Survivor and Amazing Race and get eaten alive on the challenge. If you don't know how to politic your way, to have any sort of alliances, have any sort of ties, and also be able to deal with all the nonsense that goes on within the challenge house, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to get because once you go into the elimination the first 3 times, you're going to be gone. So I'm curious to see how Natalie in particular, because on paper, yeah, maybe she's going to be great, but I mean, until you get in the house and deal with all the other aspects of the challenge, there's more that goes into it.
Yeah. And
All right. One more?
Yeah, so the last rookie is someone named Olivia Jawando. She is from Shipwrecked. Yeah, Shipwrecked. I don't know anything about her. I think that's a UK show, so maybe she knows some of the Brits. That's about all I got.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so those are those other rookies. Gabby is the one who looks like Melissa, and Adam in the chat says Melissa was 5 months pregnant when running a finale. So that's a little
People
fun.
do forget that.
People forget that. Make sure you guys can chat with us in the chat over there on Periscope. So should we?
Youngest member to run a final.
That is true. Should we? Should we get into the vet girls? I think this is where we get into it.
Yeah, let's dive right in.
All right, so I'm going to explain real quickly how we're going to kind of go through the vet girls. So the 3 of us have actually ranked each of the 9 veteran girls, just in terms of pure power ratings, how we think they stack up before the season. So we're going to start with the worst. So we averaged out our scores, start with the worst, and then we'll work our way to the best. And then we can kind of talk about our own rankings along the way, where we disagree and everything. So we'll start with the worst girl collectively based on all of our 3 ratings. And the worst veteran girl is going to be Anissa. So we rated her as the worst girl. What do we think about Anissa?
That was a no-brainer.
I just think it's hard. Like, I mean, I think kind of like her rep, she kind of comes into the game kind of like, I don't want to say like by herself, but kind of like literally by herself. Like, she doesn't have that many alliances. You know, she can say she has an alliance with like Nani or whoever, but like they're not like best friends, like a Jenna and Nani-esque friendship. Like, they don't owe each other anything. But as much as I have her last, I think I did put her last in the vets. She's always that type of person that I feel like will finish about 7th or 6th in the girls, like right in the middle of the pack. I'm not saying necessarily, she's the worst, person, that she'll finish last in the game. I just would put her towards the end is where I would say.
Yeah. I would, and going off of that, I would say she has a great chance of being in the middle. And you would probably say that out of all the girls, she has like the lowest chance of winning it all, just because she never does.
Yeah, and it's just always to the end. I mean, it's always that last moment, and I'm not saying it's a choke, but, it is a choke, So what were you going to say, Andy? Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just going to say, of the other vets, one of the reasons that I think to your guys' point, she might stick around for a little bit is because, one, I don't think she's burned a lot of bridges with anyone. And 2, I mean, you look at some of the other girl vets, they're much more likely to get voted in. And it's not necessarily because Anissa has great alliances. It's because those other people are maybe only a season or 2 into it and still just haven't proved themselves at all. And I'm sure they'll be able to get votes thrown their way before Anissa would.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So the next girl we have is Big T. So Big T and Anissa, we all had as our bottom 2 girls. So we got Big T. I mean, what do we think about her? I think she's fun to watch. She's low on the ratings for a reason. She's not going to do anything special.
Big T's awesome. I mean, you get her drunk and get her started. She is a fun person to watch. I mean, she broke her toe last season. Like, she's literally Big T. Like, I mean, so I'm excited to have her back. Correct me if I'm wrong. She went home because of the broken toe. She didn't go into elimination or anything. Yeah. So I'm excited to see her actually compete fully. Hopefully she doesn't go overboard. Maybe because Bananas isn't here, kind of pulling the strings a little bit on that. But, that's for another story. So.
Yeah, one thing, keep me honest here, but wasn't Big T only one time put in a position of power and tried making alliances with the entire house?
Oh, yeah.
I love people like that because they get just the smallest ounce of power and then they try to cover every track possible, and then you end up breaking your toe and going home before anything even happens.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's about it on Big T. I mean, she doesn't really hook up with anybody. She doesn't really get in any drama. I think she tried to fight Maddie or something last season. They just didn't air much of it. But all right, let's move on. So we did Anissa, Big T, and then our worst girl after that is Nani. We all rated her. She's the lowest. We kind of had different scores at this point, but towards the bottom half. I mean, I think Nani, it's kind of like Anissa in the terms of what you're going to get. She's going to hook up. She's going to get drunk. She's going to go for the rookies, and she's probably not going to win.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to say it. I think she's definitely better than Anissa. I think she's more of the type of person to go home like last week before finals, excuse me. The classic location change right before that too. But I don't know. Like I had her higher than that. I think I had her 5th or 6th on my list. I forget exactly. I like Nani. I think she's a good competitor. Looking at some of the other people, I think it's a pretty, from now on, the gap shrinkens a little bit. So I think Nani's a good competitor. Happy to have her back.
Yeah, I like Nani a lot. I think Nani is very good for the challenge itself. She's going to be a lot of entertainment. She's going to be competitive. She's not going to necessarily win. I mean, she's never really gotten to the point where anyone's considered her a big threat. She's always ready to make that next step. Very Ryan Tannehill-esque, maybe like a Matt Stafford, some could say. But what I do love is her overall package that she brings to the challenge, because she is going to be competitive. She is going to be great entertainment, and she probably will stay up until 1 a.m. smoking cigs that we don't see, but then the cast members talk about the next day, and I just love that. I mean, good for her. Keep it up.
One question I have for you guys with Nani, who is the guy she'll hook up with first in the house?
I was just thinking about that, and I was looking at the rookie guys, because I think
Return of Jay.
Jay's a good one, because I think obviously he's kind of a rookie almost. Jay's a good pick. Maybe I could see her trying to go for Fessy.
Ooh,
trying to get a little power vote her way, and then
University of Tennessee.
And then I would say pick your rookie for the third guy. So
rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Jay. I think Jay would be my pick. I think she likes more of that smaller. I mean, you look at the past, like Kahutta. Who else?
Johnny Riley.
People do forget that.
Ace off.
God, keyboard smash.
Chase from War of the Worlds.
Good God, every season, I love it. She could make at least 11 people. She could make a starting football team.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
See, I love that. We need more of that on the challenge.
Well, yeah, and I think we talked about. I know me and Andy talk about it all the time. Watching it on CBS All Access. If you guys want to go purchase that and watch classic old seasons. Some of these old seasons, if you guys have not seen them, the Fresh Meat 1, the Fresh Meat 2s of the world, they are just bonkers. You see Laurel, a different animal compared to people. You look at Laurel now, even from, Invasion of the Champs, or what was her last season? Was it War of the Worlds 2 with the Ninja Climb? That season, Invasion, Rivals, Free Agents, she's very calm, mellow. Yes, she's in your face with Kara in a few scenes or whatever. But back in the day, oh my Lord, Kenny, dude, that was nuts. So if you haven't gone back and gone see those seasons, please go back and watch them. They are money.
You know who else we left off on Nani, by the way, before we move on?
Go ahead.
Casey.
God, so true.
People forget.
God. Oh, losing Alex there for a sec. Who's next, Alex?
Next up, we got Nicole. I had Nicole 5. Trevor had her 6. Andy had her 3. So a little bit different results there, but overall Nicole is the next girl. So what do you think about Nicole, Trev?
I mean, I love Nicole. Just actually rewatched Skeletons, and she's awesome. I mean, she's a beast. She can basically get through it unless you have to solve 9 times 3, and then you're fine. So if there's no 9 times 3 throughout the entire show, I think she's good.
God, that's still one of my favorite scenes ever because the actual challenge was getting to what that equation was. Like you have to solve a puzzle to get to 9 times 3. And her and Corey couldn't even get to that point. And then the producer said, okay, time's up. It's 9 times 3. And then they both looked at each other like,
36? 35?
I think there was some of this going on. I mean, it just an all-timer. But I like Nicole. I had her as number 3. I think she's a beast. I think she's going to be a good competitor. She seems to be pretty friendly with most people in the game as well. So I'm a big fan of Nicole. I like her a lot, and I think she's going to do pretty well.
I like Nicole too, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say, since we're going kind of, quote unquote, worst to first here, I would say Nicole is the first name we've gotten to where you would say that there's a legit chance she could win. Like she can win a season. Like Nani, Anissa, all those clowns, I would say, they're not going to win. But I would say Nicole, we've gotten to the point where everybody we're talking about now has somewhat of a chance to win it all.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So after Nicole, we got Ashley coming in here next, and so she's 5th overall in our rankings, but Trevor has Ashley 7th, Andy has her 5th, and I had Ashley as my number 1.
Wow.
All right, so I'll go first. I'll try to explain because I put a lot of stock into my rankings based off of who I know has done it before, who I know can do it. And Ashley is the only girl on the season who's won a challenge before. And I don't think that means she's automatically first. But when I was just comparing her to some of the girls that we'll get into in a little bit, I don't know. I feel like, and Ashley is the classic example of she either goes home first or last, or she wins. And she went home early last season. So maybe that bodes well in my favor.
Yeah, I had her 7th. Because I just think the target is just so big on her head. Like, I just think when you add the target, you add the drama she brings. Like, and it's not even necessarily from other people. It's just meltdowns from herself that, exposes everything to her. And people know, like, people kind of know how she plays the game. I mean, she hasn't made it past, I think, like episode 5 since, taking the money and running in Final Reckoning, or what was it, Vendettas, or whatever one of those seasons were Vendettas. So I think personally, her target's just way too big. So that's how I look at her.
I think you're right, Trev, but I do think Ashley, when she's not with the rest of the purple people eaters, what they call themselves, lavender ladies, I don't think she's that bad. I think she seems like a social butterfly that could rub people the wrong way. But I bet she'll make some friends on this season, just being by herself.
And I would add on to that by saying who's one of the people that usually calls her out for making all those alliances is Bananas, and he's not.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna have a massive target on her back. I had her at 5. I think that's like right there. I think she could be one of those ones that gets right to the location change and then gets the axe. Because she's talented. She can win challenges. We know that. But the other competitors that I have ahead of her, I think would take her out in multiple aspects of the game. But I like Ashley a lot. I think she's a lot of fun, and she could be going for a little rookie hookup too. You never know.
Yeah, and like I said, I like her. It's just I just think that target is just so massive on her that she could be an early exit, like what Alex said. Like every other season, I feel like it's just like a up and down. Like you have no idea what she brings to the table.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think now we're to the point where the girls are all just so close. I mean, you could rank them in any order, and I think you could make an argument for it. So we got 4 girls left. The next one in our rankings is Casey. So very even across the board. Trevor and Andy had her 4th overall. I had her 3rd. I think we're all pretty high just overall on Casey. I mean, obviously she had about as good of a rookie season as you can ask for a girl, for anybody. And I would say Casey's she's a good pick.
Yeah, I love Casey. I thought she brought a lot to the table. I mean, with how she played the game, she kind of kept it quiet, pretty smooth throughout. And then right at the end of the game, with all the drama, who was she with? It was her, it was Nani, and who was the other person? Who am I? Oh,
Bailey.
Bailey. I could not think of the name. God, that blanket is still in my head. It's so gross. But yeah, like I think she's like a perfect contestant to have. She doesn't like necessarily bring like the explosiveness as stirring the pot and doing all that, but she's a good competitor. That's what you like to see. Every other person, you don't need 30 Johnny Bananas in the house. It's all right to have like the one Landons of the world out there. So I like what she brings to the table. I think she's a very solid girl competitor.
Trev, you took it right from me. I was going to say she reminds me very much of Landon. Good competitor, doesn't stir it up, but she's also not like a lamp. Like she's not just off in the corner. Like she's still around everyone and having a good time, but she's not going to get not going to be like Camillinator. She's not going to like go above and beyond, but she's going to be in the mix of everything. She's going to be having a good time, and she's going to be a good competitor. I like her a lot. And yeah, for a rookie season, she crushed it.
Yeah. Could we see a Casey Nicole hookup?
I was thinking that. I don't know. I don't know.
Because Nicole's MO is go for the girls who haven't been on a ton of seasons. She goes for really anybody. I mean, I think you throw Nicole, Casey, and Nani in a room, and I think you got some fireworks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see where you're coming from. I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, let me go this route with you. I would say you're fairly certain to get a Nicole hookup this season.
Absolutely.
You're fairly certain to get a Nani hookup this season, and you're pretty certain to get a Casey hookup.
But you can knock out two birds in one stone with the Casey and Nani again.
Exactly.
Which leaves Nicole on an island.
With Lolo, maybe.
God, no way.
All right, we'll get into that. All right, so we got 3 girls left, I believe. Next up, there's actually, all right, so there's a tie on our list right now. Tied for second, we have Cam and Teresa. Let's do Teresa first. Trevor and Andy both had her at 2 overall. I had her at 6 overall. So,
Teresa?
Yeah, I like Teresa. I think she has a shot at winning. I think she has a shot at going far. Just the only thing that was holding me back was just the fact that she hasn't done it in a while. And I want to see those first couple episodes, see how she looks, see if she's still got it. I mean, she's still got something. See if she's still got it, and then go from there. But I don't know. I just gave kind of the benefit of the doubt to everybody else.
I mean, I still think Teresa has it. I think she was always. I mean, I've always thought she was kind of like a dark horse, kind of always a third place type of finisher. I don't know how you guys feel about her, but to me, this season is like a perfect opportunity for her because there's not that dominating girl. You look in these past seasons, she'll have to go against Laurel or whatever. You look in free agents, she's solving a puzzle to go into the final. I mean, you look at that final, you had Devin in the final, you had Nani and Laurel, and it all came down to a flip of a draw. So they literally had no chance. I mean, Teresa and Laurel were by far the top 2, and they just happened to go against each other. So I think Laurel still has it. I mean, you're telling me she's not working out with her husband who's on the Detroit Lions? I mean, come on. She's doing those 40-yard sprints with him. I think she's locked and loaded. I like her a lot this season.
I completely agree. I mean, I think you start looking at some of she's never won, correct?
No, I don't think she's won.
I think she's got to be up there in Mount Rushmore of female competitors that have never won. I mean, I think she's a beast, and she definitely isn't afraid to go after someone. I mean, does anyone remember the one-on-one with CT?
God,
of all people?
I mean, that's one of the most epic moments of all.
I mean, just electric. I think she's going to bring a newfound, second wave of energy back into the challenge. I'm sure she's still in great shape. She's always been a good competitor. And if you look at people on the list that are probably most well-liked amongst the girls, find me someone more well-liked than Teresa.
I mean, I like that. I mean, I think she's like, I mean, the only person that she has the rivalry with in this cast is Nani. I mean, they've just always gone against each other. And I mean, that's one person though, which, and to be fair, Nani or Teresa, if they were in the scenario of sending each other in at any moment, they don't have that in them to send it like right away. That move happens when you're right by the final. So at that point, the game is so close.
And I also don't think like Nani at this point in time in her challenge career, I don't see her taking a shot at Teresa, even if she has the chance. I see Nani trying to hold on to any relationships that she has, even if it means mending one that had some rough waters in the past.
I'm very curious to see their relationship this season. Like, for some reason, I am just getting some reason in my head, I'm just picturing it going to be very Johnny Bananas Jordan-esque, where the last time you saw them, they absolutely hated each other. And the next season, it's just a flip of the switch, and now they're just best friends. And for some reason, I feel like that is going to happen this season. And I just don't know why.
I could see that as a very real possibility.
So, Alex, what was your reasoning? You said for her so low. Just
mainly, I guess two things. Mainly, one, she was 6 on my list, mainly because she just hasn't been around in a while. I think after maybe the first couple weeks, if I had the chance to change it, I would probably bump her up a little bit. And then I think also, like we've kind of talked about, there's just other girls that I'd put above her. I mean, like I said, I had Ashley 1, Casey 3. So 2 girls who I had higher than the consensus. So I really don't think it's a knock on Teresa, because I am a big Teresa fan. I think it's just a matter of kind of where the chips fell with the rest of the girls.
Absolutely. So who's next?
So Teresa was tied with Cam. So I had Cam 2 overall. Trevor had her 1 overall, and Andy had her 7 overall.
Ooh, what?
So little
Andy, what's your reasoning on 7? I'm very curious.
So, one, I'm just not a huge fan. Okay. I think if she makes it far in this game, I think it's going to be because of her. I think Cam, and this is going to sound a little weird, but hear me out. I think Cam's going to live and die by Leroy. And you could say, wait a minute, shouldn't it be the other way around? She has had him like a puppet. If he has gotten any inclination of that and he comes into this challenge saying, look, we're still good friends, but I'm going to do my challenge. I need to go out and actually get this money. You do your challenge. We'll still be friends, but I'm not going to be giving you that same protection and alliance that I've given in the past. I think that's going to hurt her. And if that happens, I think her next move is to try to play a Wes-esque game where she just tries to rally up the rookies, which, again, is a proven method that works. But I think that Cam hitching her wagon to Leroy has helped her tremendously. And granted, if she's able to do that in this challenge, then she's going to be far better than 7. But I just hope that Leroy kind of opens his eyes as to how she's just does her own thing and he bends over backwards for her. So I don't know. I think she's a bit overrated. I'm not surprised you guys have her high. I was surprised that you guys have her that high, but I'm not a big fan. And I think at some point in time, she's going to really come back down to earth. And I think it could be this season.
I love Killa Cam. I think she's I think she's good this season. This season is going to be her year because when you look at who she goes against, there's only one person I feel like in elimination she'll lose again, or she won't lose, but it's going to be close, and that's Tori. Anybody else, any elimination, I like Cam over any of them. Who would you rather have in any other elimination head-to-head versus Cam? Like a Lolo Jones is just so questionable. It just kind of depends on what the elimination is. I mean, Cam's 7-2 in eliminations. She has a great track record. And I feel like now she's the type of person where, as much as I hate bringing his name involved, is that CT factor. Like, you look at CT right now, CT is, I mean, he's not amazing. Like, I love CT, but he's not like the greatest competitor. But you look at CT and it's like, why the hell do I even go against him? Like, it's just the name. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like Cam is building that up right now. I don't know if you guys feel that or disagree with me on that. I just feel like Cam is kind of on that track of not necessarily like, obviously, like the banana backpack or any of that. I'm just saying, like, the whole name aspect of Cam.
Yeah, I had Cam 2 overall, and I think this was the one person where I kind of had to separate like because I'm not a huge Cam fan, but I do think I mean, I ranked her second overall. I think she's got a good shot. She's very well-rounded. You know, she's a good physical competitor. She's good politically. And the thing is, like, everybody kind of respects her, at least. Even if they don't like her, they respect her. They respect her game. Nobody really targets her a whole lot. She's got Leroy on her side, at least for now. And I think she's very good politically. I think I could easily see a Cam Ashley alliance. They've been aligned before. And if they get, enough numbers, I think they could do some damage. So, and I just think in general, Cam is slightly overrated, but I think when we're ranking these girls, I think she still just ended up 2 for me.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, I like it. I do think now, talking through it a bit and looking at the list, I think if you were to pick someone to go into an elimination, regardless of what it is, could be physical, could be mental, in terms of all-around competitor, she could be the biggest, like, full package, if that makes sense. Even including, the Tori Streeses of the world that we also have right there with her. I mean, Cam's smart. She's strong. She's a good competitor. I mean, you put her and Nicole in a puzzle elimination, pack your bags.
God.
Yeah. Nicole is oftentimes the worst. So we got one girl left. Trevor mentioned her name a couple times there, and it is Tori. So Tori is our overall number 1 girl. Andy had her 1. Trevor had her 3. I had her 4. I mean, all high numbers. She ended up our number 1 girl. I think she's solid.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she's a great competitor, absolute beast. The only thing I worry about is 2 things. No Jordan in the house, and I worry about her last elimination losing. And, you can say it doesn't do anything to you, but it's still in the back of your head. I mean, that was a bad loss.
She lost an elimination that she should have won against Jenna.
To someone who was completely checked out of the game.
Yeah, that's why I had her a little lower.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I worry about. I think she's easily a top 3 girl. Easily a top 3 girl. It's just that factor, like, how will she respond to that? How will she play without Jordan? Whose alliance is she in? And if she can figure that out, and if she can make it to literally the top 5, I mean, she's a good competitor.
So let me go this route with you, Trev. Both of those could be viewed as positives.
Yeah.
Jordan could have done it. There's a very real argument to be made that he did more harm for Tori in the challenge than good. So maybe him being gone takes a target off of her back. Tori's very well liked. She has never had any enemies. She was the one always trying to calm Jordan down and make sure he wasn't always the most hated guy in the house. And that loss has been eating her alive. I mean, there's something to be said about going out like that in a challenge that you should have won and coming back with a fire. So, I mean, I think there could be an argument to be said that both those are positives for Tori in this season.
Absolutely.
And I mean, she's a beast. I think she's proven herself multiple times. So I view that Jenna mishap as a fluke. I mean, granted, Jenna still won, but I do think it was a bit of a fluke. She should have won it, and I think she's going to come back. I'm sure one of the first confessions or, one-on-ones that she has, she's going to reference that. And she's going to say, I came back here to prove this to myself and to everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tori is an interesting case in the sense that, like, when you think about Tori on the challenge, you would just, your first thought is like, she's a good competitor. She's a good competitor. She's good at the show. And then you look, and I think she's done 4 seasons now. So she's still young in her challenge career, but you got a finale appearance in Dirty 30, an early exit in Final Reckoning, a final appearance in War of the Worlds 2, and then a pretty bad early exit in Total Madness. So it's like you have 4 seasons, and it's very up and down. But at the end of the day, you like just know in the back of your head that she is a good competitor. But you just have this bag of mixed results. And so I think this season is like, which way is she going to go? What is she going to make it long without Jordan? Is she going to go home early again? And I think kind of just because the fact that she's a good competitor overall, you would tend to think that she's going to do pretty well. So that's kind of my main, that's kind of how I see Tori.
Yeah. So before we wrap up the girls, I do want to bring out, thank you for the comment we had from J.S. Paul. And it looked like they said, what about Natalie from the Survivor? We kind of hinted at it earlier. We really don't know what she brings to the table. All 3 of us don't watch Survivor at all. I believe I had her the highest of my rookies, though. We kind of broke them off separate from kind of the vets. We kind of just rated the vets and kind of just hinted at the rookies. But someone definitely to look forward to. But like we said, we just don't know what they bring to the table.
Well, that I just looked it up real quick because when we talked about Natalie, we talked about Amazing Race, which is what the Wikipedia has it as. Mm-hmm. And so I just clicked on her, and it looks like she has been on both of these shows. So she's been on Amazing Race twice. She finished 4th and 11th overall. And then she went on 2 Survivor seasons, and she finished 1st and runner-up.
Okay.
So she's been on kind of more than what we talked about. She's been on 2 different shows, 4 seasons overall, with pretty good results overall.
Do you know what that could very well mean, though? She's going in every single elimination until she's gone.
I don't know.
We don't know how the elimination matchups are determined, but it's one of those things where you're just going to keep putting rookie on rookie, and she's going to be the one that anyone wants out. How do you look at a resume like that if you're Nani and not try to say, we need her gone?
Yeah.
You send her against Lolo every time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, one time, but then the next time.
Well, once they go through the redemption house to the redemption house and they're back in the game twice, please no redemption house. 19 episodes. Who knows? So there could be a redemption house. But yeah, thank you for the comment. Please, guys, we're about to talk about the rookie guys right now. So if you guys have any comments, all 3 of us don't watch any of these other shows, mainly just the challenge. So feel free, type some messages into the comment section. So.
Yeah, keep the questions. Jarrett, Ace, good seeing you guys. More questions, the better.
Yeah, looks like we got the YouTube going now.
Yeah, we got the YouTube going?
Yeah, Ace is talking from YouTube, it looks like. Oh, again, wow. This is our first time doing it, so we'll get into that.
I didn't even know we were live. There we go.
So I'll just real quick, the order for our veteran girls from worst to first, our collective rankings. We got Anissa, Big T, Nani, Nicole, Ashley, Casey, tie between Cam and Teresa, and then number 1 overall, Tori. So should we go into the guys?
Yeah, let's bombs away.
All right, so guys, we have 15 overall. We have 4 rookies. So let's do the rookies first again. The first one, and I'll kind of start this off, is somebody named Michi. And the only reason I know Michi is he's a musician, rapper, whatever you want to call it. But he was on a season of X on the Beach, an MTV show that I watched a few years ago. I don't really have any great description on him. He's just the classic, what you would expect from a guy who's on a lower level MTV show and he thinks he's a rapper. The one thing I would point out I guess the only thing I would point out is that his season of X on the Beach, he was on there with Devin. So maybe they have some sort of alliance coming in. He was also on there with Marie, friend of the program. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, go listen to it. But yeah, I mean, that's all I really have for Michi. Do you guys, anything on Michi?
No, I literally have no idea. I never heard of this person. I've never heard this person in my life. So yeah, I guess we can just. Andy, if you have anything, I literally have no idea.
I mean, no, I'm right there with you. I'm curious to see how all these rookies guys are going to go, but looking at the rest of, Ace saying he's actually Black China's ex. So thanks for that tidbit there, Ace. That's news. I think it wouldn't surprise me, especially also hearing that he's here because he's probably got some sort of following that that MTV is trying to drum up a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, of all the other rookies, he seems like the one that doesn't have much of a physical background. So and again, that's based on very little knowledge of any of these guys, but looking at the shows that they came from and just, their overall build, he could be one of the first ones gone. Supposedly he's got a sex tape out there as well. So,
interesting.
Now things are starting to make a little more sense.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. See, I mean, this is classic. I think this is MTV's way of, just trying to branch out a bit, but could be early exit for this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Who else we got rookie wise?
Rookie wise, the next one we have is somebody named, very boring name, Joseph Allen. He was on America's Got Talent. He's a singer, musician. I got nothing else on this guy. I think this is the first time we've done America's Got Talent on the challenge before.
If you told me Joseph Allen lived 7 houses down from me, I would have believed you. I had literally, it's just the most generic name I think I've heard all night so far. We'll talk about this. Like, who? It's literally the biggest who. Like, I mean, what show you say he was from?
America's Got Talent.
God, we are literally scraping that barrier. Like, come on.
And the weird thing about like him and other people is like you go to his time on that show and he finished like towards the bottom. Like these people aren't like heavy hitters from the shows that they come from. I mean,
when you say America's Got Talent, what was he like? I'm trying to think. It was definitely like live shit. They go to like, I forget like the whole process, but what place does it say he finished in? Because it's not like he went to an audition, got past like American Idol back in the day. Like you go to Hollywood and then you just get X'd out. Yeah, exactly. And then you're literally just gone the next, like you might not even get your next scene might not even be shown or anything. And it's just like you have no idea. You've never seen this guy before.
Ace is saying he won the golden buzzer.
Oh, so he's actually pretty good at something.
But
what?
He got eliminated in the first live show. So that tells you 2 things. 1, he's a good singer, and 2, he cracks under pressure. So how the hell do you expect to be good at the challenge? And honestly, as we go through more and more of these guys, and also looking at the rookie girls as well, why does MTV not do Fresh Meat 3? You got guys from America's Got Talent, former WWE wrestlers, guys that are famous from a sex tape. What? Why would you not just roll out Fresh Meat? Fresh Meat has gotten some of the best talent of all time on the challenge. And I've been singing this song for quite some time. I know Trevor and Alex both know that. But at this point, they're pulling from non-MTV shows for guys that don't even belong on the challenge. And Josh Allen, or is it Josh Allen? What's his name?
Joseph Allen. Come on.
Joseph
Allen, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Be an incredible competitor and prove me wrong. But like this guy, the last 2 guys we talked about are great examples of like, why the hell are we not doing Fresh Meat 3?
I want to bring up something. I don't want to get too off the rails with this, but what would you guys think? I know we've been seeing it kind of on social media and stuff. Andy, you said you want Fresh Meat 3. You're pretty straight on that. What do you think about Mark Long and the We Want the OGs thing? That campaign. Are you for that? Are you against that? Or like, what do we think? I think it'd be good if they actually get like good people. Like if they get like, trying to think of people off the top of my head from way back there. But like if they get like Coral and like stuff like that, like she's a beast. Like if you could get her, like Cyrus, Alton, like those people, then it's legit, I think.
Well, I heard Alton's very interested.
God,
I think the OGs would be very entertaining, but the issue that I think we would run into with that is they're not going to be as entertaining. It's going to be more of a nostalgia type of play. They're not going to be going out and getting blacked out on the shows. I mean, maybe some of them. But.
And I think that wears off quicker than you would expect.
Agreed.
Now, Trev, let me go this route with you because I know that Derek has some podcast that he does where they do some breakdown about We Want OGs, but I think it costs like $80 to even like listen to that podcast episode.
Yeah. So, we'll be free for you guys, throughout the entire year. We're not paying, we do this for the goodness of our heart and for you guys. So, we're not in it for the money like some people. But
speaking about being in it for the money, Trev, I think that's another knock about the OGs. I mean, if any OGs are signing up for it, they're coming to see their friends in a little bit, but they're coming to just try to win some money. And granted, like that's why a lot of people join the challenge in general. But I mean, I don't want to say it's desperate for money, but I'm not going to not.
Absolutely agree. Personally, I think the best thing they could do for an We Want the OG series. Tell me how you would think about this. You have this season. The season ends. When did we do the math? April 6th range, 16th, somewhere in April.
Yeah.
So if they could film a season right now from, let's say, January to February, very like Champs vs. Stars-esque of We Want the OGs, like 60-minute episodes, not 90-minute episodes, where you're just boom, like it's literally like within a day. I think I'd be fine with that. I don't need a full season, 19 episodes, like a quick, like 6-episode series with these clowns. Like I would be fine with. And I mean, who knows how many, and it could also just be a test run for MTV to see, how many eyes actually are on these people. Or even if they're not doing it, why would we even make them into a full season?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So let's read. I think we were talking about rookies, and now
talking about a rookie.
We were talking about rookies, and we're literally talking about vets who haven't been on in 10 years. So I don't know what happened there, but
all right. So we'll get back on the rails a little bit. The next rookie we have, we'll count on Ace to give us some more inside info. But the next rookie we have is Lio Rush. It says he's from WWE Raw. Trev, I know you're a big wrestling guy. You know what that means?
I'm more of a UFC guy. Michelle Watterson, shout out Champs vs. Stars. But I have no idea. I've never heard this guy in my life.
Lio Rush, he's the dude.
I narrowed it down.
When we did our cast photos, he kind of looked like Chester the Cheetah. I really don't know anything about this guy. I'm on his Wikipedia right now. Looks like he's 26.
Yes, that's literally it. I'm on it too. It literally says 26 years old from Maryland, and that's it.
So I actually think Leo could be a decent addition to the challenge. And hear me out, but post-challenge, The Miz went into WWE wrestling.
That is true.
If you're a WWE wrestler, that tells me two things. One, you're in good shape because you got to be. And two, you know how to put on a show. And, granted, a rapper, you could say, does the same, but it's very different. WWE wrestlers are there to just get people going, get everyone hyped up, and also be physical. I think this guy could actually be decent. I mean, again, it's scraping from different aspects of entertainment, but maybe he brings a little physicality and a little showmanship that we haven't seen in a little bit.
According to Periscope right now from JS Paul again, they were saying how Leo is a smaller guy, but very athletic and very competitive. Basically said, think Bear, but very with real athletic ability. So,
but I would question Jarrett. Does that mean that Bear doesn't have real athletic ability?
The only athletic ability he has is running into some girl's bed. Come on.
Well, and just one more quick thing on Leo is that based off his Wikipedia page, it says in November he was announced on a contestant on the challenge, and in October Leo announced he has an OnlyFans account. So, couple busy months for this Leo Rush guy.
God, out of control. All right, who's the next rookie?
So I believe this is our last rookie, and it is Nam Vo. And no, those aren't just sounds and syllables. That's an actual name. Nam Vo. He was on Beastmaster, which I guess was on Netflix. Maybe it's still on Netflix. That's what it says it was on. I don't know anything about this guy. It says he's from, I don't even know what country he's from. He's the guy, in my opinion, I think he kind of looks like Rogan, just from the face and everything. He looks in pretty good shape. But yeah, that's all I got on Nam Vo.
Yeah, I've never heard of this guy. I don't watch. Do you watch Beastmaster, Andy?
No, are you kidding me? Let me see if we can find how he finished there. I think that'd be interesting to know. He's from Germany. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think based on what I'm seeing here, it seems to that this Beastmaster show is kind of like American Ninja Warrior-esque. Like it is like a physical, like relay race type thing. I just don't know how like the season's played out and everything.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I'm trying to look up the finishes, but I mean, even trying to navigate this Wikipedia is impossible.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 9 seasons or 9.
Yeah, Ace is saying he made it to the top 2, I think, and he said it's like Ninja Warrior. So this is where I'm kind of torn because I think this screams someone who's going to come in with all the right tools, but not the right, intangibles that make up a good overall challenge competitor. But I also thought the same thing about Ninja and Turbo, and both of them proved me wrong. So I think, if this guy's legit, then he's going to come in, and if he gets thrown in a couple times, and he comes back, I think Nam is a prime candidate for Wes to come knocking on his door.
The real question is, these guys went out September when they started filming, like Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Did Wes reach out to these guys, these rookies, in July or June, do you think? June?
Maybe
August.
God, I don't know, that late.
So based off, I found this guy on the Wikipedia page for the results. It basically looks like the show started with 12 people, and then every episode or something, they eliminated a certain amount. And Nam lasted till the last episode, which with only him and one other person, and he finished second overall. So
yeah, our inside source Ace is saying that no one finished.
Oh,
so because the course was too hard.
Was that the hardest final of all time?
Some might say.
He's from Germany too, by the way.
Yeah.
Where was Turbo from? Turkey?
Yes.
All right.
I think this guy's a prime target for Nani, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting.
So he's got Nani and Wes.
Yeah. They were partners at one point.
Any other rookies, or are we going straight to the vets now?
That's it. Those are the 4 rookies: Michi, Joseph / Josh Allen, Leo Rush.
First name can't be real, right?
What?
There's no way.
There's no how. If you ask me how to spell, I literally have no idea what letter do you. What letter do you?
Which name?
Joseph?
No, watch it. Michi or what's his name?
Michi, yeah.
God, this is gonna be me odd, like Fezzy. Like I've said Fezzy for the first like 13 episodes of last season or whatever. So,
all right,
let's dive right into the guys.
Let's get into the vets for the guys because there's more this time. There's 11 vet guys. Again, if you guys were just tuning in, we basically gave our power rankings for the 11 guys, for the 11 vets on the season, and we kind of averaged the scores out. And so we'll work our way from worst to first, and then we'll kind of talk about why we rank them there, embrace debate, etc. So of the 11 returning males, the one that we have worst on our list is Josh.
Friend of the program so much.
Josh, friend of the program. Go listen to our interview with him from War of the Worlds. I mean, I think at this point, we all ranked Josh last or second to last for a reason. I mean, we know what we're going to get from Josh at this point. He's going to cry. He's going to, cause drama and all that. And the thing is, like, that's one thing if you perform in the challenges, but I think he's 0-3 in eliminations now. He's made it kind of halfway each time. He's just really done nothing too impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I could have said it any better. I mean, he's literally done nothing. And I mean, he's a big dude. I feel like I just want him to do well. And it's just, it's just straight. Like, he doesn't do anything. Like, he'll win or something, like a daily challenge, and he'll get in a fight, like, during the voting. And, like, he's screwed the next week. It's just, there's no, like, straight improvement or anything. It's like, it's always, there's something negative with him every single week. And it's a real shame. I like him. I mean, friend of the program, really enjoyable guy to talk to, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't know if we've ever seen more waterworks out of anyone on the challenge. Anyone, let alone Josh, who's a guy who's only been on for a couple seasons. But he's not a great competitor. You always think, I mean, he lost essentially a tug of war game to someone with one hand. Now, granted, Jordan, I think, is a phenomenal competitor, great challenger, but that challenge was built for Jordan to lose, and Josh lost. I mean, that just kind of sums up Josh. I think so. Josh seems to have some friends on the girls' side, but I think a lot of the challengers are probably at their tipping point when it comes to Josh. And they're just like, look, man, we just don't want you here anymore. So I could see not many people having his back either. So, I mean, Josh being at the bottom end of this list was pretty easy for me.
Yeah. And one guy who kind of had his back just literally as a number, even though Josh didn't realize it, was Bananas. And Bananas isn't here. And it was kind of almost sad last season when he was going at Wes, those few episodes, and Wes was like, Josh, I'm not trying to get you out. I'm not trying to go for the worst person here. And Josh would literally hear Wes say that and cry. I mean, Josh and Trev, like you said, like when you look at him, you think he would be middle of the road, like not terrible, but not the best, because he is like a pretty big, good sized guy, but he's not middle of the road. He's proven to be below average, well below average. He hasn't really won anything, but friend of the program.
Yeah. All right, who's 10? I'm kind of curious now once we start breaking it down.
Yeah, I think the rest of the list could be all over the place for my list. So
the next person is we all had this person either second to last or last, and it's Devin. So okay. We'll get into the debates, I think, after maybe this round, but second to last overall for the three of us is Devin.
Yeah, I mean, I just not a huge fan of him. When was the last time we saw him?
I think it was.
Was it Vendettas?
Might have been Vendettas.
He came as a mercenary in Final Reckoning and lasted for like 4 episodes before the whole Pasta Gate.
God, Pasta Gate! I forgot about Pasta Gate. Speaking of Pasta Gate, can we please bring back Tony Raines?
We need to talk about that a little more.
God, all right. So Devin is just kind of like that. I mean, we've said it a million times. Just that wannabe Johnny Bananas. Just wants to be that big guy, and he'll just never be it. And it's just it's just funny to see him, try to be funny and stuff. It's a lot. I thought it was really funny going back and watching Are You the One Second Chance, and he tries to act like he is this hot shot in that game. But don't get me wrong, he might be. There's nobody else. He's going against the Shanleys of the world, who the who's nobody knows him or anything. Debatable, Andy, but when he actually goes into the challenge, he ain't beating CT. He ain't beating any of these big dogs. I'd put Jay above him. I think Jay would beat him in an elimination easily. And it sounds like from a bunch of these rookies, I think the rookies might even beat him. A couple of these athletic guys.
I think the only thing that could keep Devin around is if this setup, this whole season is a lot of, thinking, or if there's a lot of challenge related to thought, or if you can stab people in the back, which we talked about earlier. It looks like that could be an integral part of this because he's the type of guy to do that in a heartbeat. And I'm looking at the rest of the vets. I don't see him having much of an alliance with anyone here. If anyone, I think you could maybe say he tries to get with Corey and Nelson, but I think the fact that those two have been so close recently and they are better than him in, I would say, 70% of challenges, they're going to say, why would we drag you along? I think Devin's play here is going to be to try to rally up some of the rookies that West doesn't rally up, a la the Michis and whoever else, Joseph Allens of the world, just to try to keep his ticket a little longer. But I can't stand him. I think he's going to get pushed out pretty early, and he's not going to be able to back himself. I could see some of the rookies getting knocked out, and then Nam Vo, or I don't even know if that's his name, Nam Vo going up against him, and he's one of the first veterans thrown in, and Nam Vo just smokes him. That's kind of how I see it happening.
Yeah.
Interesting point. So Ace in the chat saying that Devin and Michi did X on the beach together. So, and one of you guys called that out as well. So, exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go after Michi. He's going to go after all these rookies that Wes isn't going to spend his time with. He's going to rally them up. They're going to get picked off one by one, and then he's going to get smoked by the Leo Rushes, Nambos of the world.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the way I kind of see Devin, very similar to what we've talked about, but it's like when we're doing these rankings, which is separate from how we feel about them, do we like them or not? It's like, I don't like Devin. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of his shtick and everything. So it's like I try to keep that aside when you're ranking him and just look at what he can do as a challenger. But then it's not much. He's not physical. He's not, an endurance guy. And then you think his sort of calling card is the political game, but he really has never that's just his mouth. He's never really done anything super, impressive from a political standpoint. So I just think overall he's been on, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons, and he just hasn't really done much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ace is saying Devin is a layup, in my opinion. I'll keep him around to beat in a final or get an easy skull. I love that. I think he's going to be one that goes out to a rookie personally. I don't even think, truthfully, looking at this list and looking at the setup, it's tough. Back in the day when schools weren't involved, you always try to keep a layup around till the end so that way you can blow them out. I don't know if we've seen enough of how that would work in this type of challenge. And granted, double agents could be anything. But I do think that's a good point. And I think Ace is also picking up exactly what we're all putting down.
Absolutely.
So we've done, just real quick before we get to the next person, we've done 2 people so far, Josh and Devin. Josh lost the first Purge challenge on War of the Worlds and only got brought back because Alan broke his arm. So if that doesn't happen, Josh is never on the season again.
Ooh.
And
Devin,
Devin, if you remember back to Rivals 3, he was eliminated first.
Yeah.
And he only got brought back because all the other teams kept leaving. So the first 2 guys we've talked about literally in most other scenarios would never have been brought back for a second season.
Yeah, and Devin went to the finals.
Yeah. All right. So we got Josh, Devin. Our next person we have is Jay. So Jay, he averaged a 9th position overall. I had him 9th. Trevor had him 9th. Andy had him 6th. I don't know. I feel like this is where it kind of got tough, where you kind of got to the male challengers who might do something. I think Jay is a good competitor. I mean, it's just it's a very, after Josh and Devin, it's a pretty stacked veteran field. But yeah, Jay's next. What do you guys think about Jay?
I think for Jay, I think he's a good person, good competitor. I think it all comes down to what elimination it is for him. I think he's an easy target to throw in early. I'm not saying first week, second week, but the 4th, 5th, 6th of the world. And I just think it's tough for him, being a smaller guy. I feel like, a Leroy or a CT, like for example, like last season, CT's like, oh, let me just go against this guy and I'll beat him. But obviously, Jay beat CT last season. It all depends on the elimination. Anything physical, in anything physical, like the hall brawls of the world, the tug of what was it, the rope one, like any of those names, in front of us right now are going to beat him in that. But if it's like a puzzle, if it's like something like going a rope thing or whatever, I mean, then it's a toss up.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trev. Unless it's very, very physically focused, I like Jay as a competitor. Yeah. I think he did really well last season. And I think if I'm in his shoes, and this could very well happen, I think one of those other guys that we all probably have more top of the list probably earned some respect from what he did. I mean, he was continuously put in, and he won. I don't know how many he ended up winning, but I think he probably won enough for like a Wes or CT to say, you know what, you're good. I kind of want you on my side. Let's stick around for a little bit, but know that at some point in time we're going to cut ties. But that way Jay sticks around for a bit. One of those older vets has a good younger guy on their side, and he could actually go pretty far in the season. I like Jay a lot. I think he surprised me last season, that's for sure. And I think he's got a challenge under his belt, maybe earn some respect from the older vets, and could shock some people.
Yeah, and I even said in our Total Madness recap, I literally said he was like my MVP of the year. I said it because not necessarily. I mean, obviously we could say Bananas winning, and that's the easy route. But Jay's performance, if he loses week 1, he does not get invited back to another challenge ever again. Him beating CT might have given him that 4-year contract. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I'm excited to see what he brings to.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I like what he does off the field. I mean, he's not a super, like, get drunk guy, but he is a social guy. He clearly's got some game. Bananas and Morgan, they didn't dive into that last season. But, I mean, Jay does pretty well for himself, so you never know. I mean, a couple hookups here and there, and he seems like a likable guy. I just think he had that rookie stigma on his back. I think now he's going to come back as a somewhat established competitor that is likable, and that's valuable and hard to come by, honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jay he's a likable guy. He's shown now that he's good at the challenge and he can win eliminations. And, when we rank these people in terms of like, the strongest on the top, the not so strong on the bottom, it never ends up playing out that way. You always have some kind of underdogs who make it longer. You have some champions who go home early. And like you could easily see Jay as somebody who makes it at least halfway just based on what he's shown already.
Exactly.
All right. So our next guy working our way up is Kyle. So I had him 6th overall. Trevor and Andy each had him 8th. I mean, this is just a classic position for Kyle, I feel like. I don't know. In my mind, Kyle is a good competitor, and I think he's slightly underrated because every season he kind of, I would say, outkicks his coverage. He does a little bit better than expected. And I think some of that has been luck and just kind of how the cards and the eliminations have fallen and everything. But, I mean, I think Kyle has a shot to make it decently far.
Yeah, and I think people do forget he did get 2nd in Total Madness.
People forget that.
I worry about, no bananas, no no safety net this game for anything. How is he going to be? I mean, because you look at what he did. Vendettas, he was with Cara Maria. So you had a great, alliance there. Then you basically had, as soon as that, ended, you basically had Bananas carrying you the past couple seasons. And I feel like a bunch of these guys are literally like that 4 through 7, very mid-tier guys, like a Nani-esque. He's a Nani-esque player, is how I would grade him. But if he can, I think he's a perfect person to skate by. Like, if there's no rule about going to a final or anything like that, he might be a dark horse to make the final, honestly, because people kind of just forget about him.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I think the male version of Nani's pretty spot on. I do think that No Bananas is going to be a bit of a learning curve for him. I also think that what seems like a lack of Brits is also going to be a bit of a learning curve for him. And granted, it's not like he was included in a lot of the heavy Brit alliances, but it was always kind of one of those underlying, let's not throw each other in type of unspoken alliances. I will give any listener that is currently tuned in live $10 over Venmo, Cash App of your choosing if Kyle and Gabby do not hook up this season. I don't know anything about Gabby, but I do know a whole lot about Kyle. And just throwing that out there. Whoever wants to respond to this saying it's not going to happen, $10 coming your way if it doesn't by the end of this season, because it's going to happen.
Sounds like it's going to happen.
And I think one last – oh,
there we go. Gabby has a boyfriend. Kyle has a girlfriend. Ace coming in hot. But you know what? Jarrett said noted right before. That's what I got. So, Jarrett, it looks like the odds are stacked against me. But
for most of these people, for most of these challengers, having a boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yep, Jarrett, $10 for you, my friend. If it doesn't happen, odds are stacked against me. But
all right.
All right, let's keep it going.
All right, so the one thing about Kyle that before we move on, I think this is maybe a little fun fact here, is I think because Bananas is not on this season, and anybody listening, feel free to chime in and correct me, but I think Kyle now holds the longest active challenge streak in terms of seasons in a row. I'm pretty sure it's now Kyle, because he's done every one since Vendettas. Bananas is gone now. I'm looking at the cast list and some of the other big names, CT and Ashley. I think they've all missed the season within there. So just pointing that out there, that I think Kyle is now kind of holding the flag for that one.
Yeah, that's a good call out. And Ace did say that he heard, and granted, we are a non-spoilers podcast here, non-spoilers live stream. So keep that in mind, boys and girls. But supposedly somebody cheats this season. And there's no bet. So
watch the spoilers. Keep it all right. Let's keep it going.
All right.
Keep it moving, but
watch it.
So next up after Kyle, and I think kind of like we've talked about, the middle of this cast I think is very, very jam-packed. It's very even. You could rearrange them in any way. The next one we have after Kyle is Corey. So Corey averaged the 7th. I had him 7th. Trevor had him 5. Andy had him 9. So kind of that in that little middle range there. I mean, I think Corey's solid, and I think he had a better than I expected season last year. I think he did very well last year. And he's always, I mean, I kind of want Corey to win at some point, especially after last season. And he's a guy that, he's obviously never won, but he's come close a few times. So you would think that, if he keeps doing this, he'll eventually get one. I think he's a good competitor. I think he's in that middle range, and I think he has a chance to, make a final or something, make some noise.
Yeah, I like Corey. I had him 5th, you said, right?
Yeah.
I just think here's why I'm surprised we're looking at this list right now. And Nelson has not been said, but Corey has been said. Because we all know Nelson's going to sacrifice himself before Corey. So I don't know what you guys are thinking. Regardless, Nelson is going to be first gone before that. I guess I'll have to pump the brakes. Andy's got a response.
Well, hear me out, Trev. Nelson already bit that bullet.
Yeah.
If Corey's not gonna do the same for him,
Corey will never return that favor. Never.
I mean, but so here's the thing, maybe, because I don't think you're wrong. I don't see Nelson doing that twice. I do not see him doing that twice, especially because I don't know how many kids Corey has these days, but I know during the last season he had a newborn. Yeah, I know it's hard to keep track. But I think, and granted, he could have a newborn for this season as well. But I do think that I don't see Nelson falling on the sword again. And I do think Corey needs to win. And even though he hasn't, I view that as a big negative. Like, Corey's one of those guys that's just I don't see him ever winning. Would I like to see him win? Yeah. But at some point in time, even if he goes far in the challenge, he's going to have to use this thing up here. And if he has to use this thing up here, pack your bags.
The real question is, at any point in this game, will he reunite with Nicole as partners and finally solve 9 times 3?
No chance.
God. How awesome would it be if that's what they did in the show? Like, it was just like, let's say it was the finals. We're just saying the game was free agents-esque, okay? Finals, each part of the segment, you have a different partner, right? Nicole and Corey are the partner for this first part. They have to solve a puzzle. What if they gave them 9 times 3 again? Could they solve it? I say 100% no.
No chance.
Andy?
I mean, do you think they went back and did multiplication tables? No chance.
I mean, you got to think Corey, with one of his children, are literally solving these equations by now, right?
Not yet. Wait, could
Ryder
have a better shot?
Oh, I'm putting my money on Ryder for sure.
I mean, I think the question needs to be asked.
All right, what else?
All right.
I guess Nelson is after Corey. Has to be.
So right above Corey is Nelson. I had him 5th overall. Trevor and Andy each had him 7th overall. He fell right in the middle at 6th in our averages. I mean, again, I think this middle sort of pack here is just very, very close. I think Nelson's solid, and he had a solid – I think him and Corey both had a solid outing last season, after being away for a couple seasons.
Yep.
I've always liked Nelson. I think he's underrated, especially when it comes to eliminations. He has a good elimination record. Again, like Corey, as also, if he has to use his brain at any point, he's kind of screwed. But I mean, you look at Nelson and you think that's a solid competitor.
Yeah. I mean, I like him. I mean, he's good at popping champagne bottles. So he's good at that, at least. What else? I mean, he's a loyal person. And I think, if this becomes a partner game or a team game, I think he's a perfect person to have on, a team. I think he's a huge team player. But him solo, I do get kind of worried. How well can he do solo?
I agree.
Like, I personally, like, when we look at Corey, head to head, if I were to say Corey versus Nelson in an elimination or in a final, 9 times out of 10, I'm picking Corey still.
I don't know about 9 times out of 10 though.
I like
Corey. I just don't think he can close it out.
I think it's the opposite. Corey's weakness is usually eliminations, and Nelson's strength is usually eliminations.
I just think I don't know. Personally, I think Nelson is he's just like, as much as I hate to say it, I just feel like he's a JV version of Corey, honestly. And I mean, it's not saying much, but like that's just how it's the best way it's very similar to Batman and Robin, and Nelson is Robin, and that's how I look at it.
Here's my thing. I think when they first got on the challenge, Corey was about here for me, and Nelson was about here.
Really?
Nelson. Well, no, I thought Corey's a bit better than Nelson, but I feel like Corey's been like this, just straight stagnant. And I think Nelson's kind of gone up a little bit. And I think he's gotten to the point where I take Nelson over Corey.
But how I'm looking at it as a game aspect, I think competitor-wise, in a final, in an elimination, in anything, I think Corey is a better person, personally. I think as a person, like for themselves, like quality and everything like that, Nelson is definitely a better person, 100%. Like he's a loyal, reliable, whatever you want to say, a perfect person. I get that. And that's why you might think he's going up. But really, is he going up? Like, what has he done? He hasn't made a final in God knows how long. Ever?
I don't think he has.
No, I don't think he's made a final. How many finals has Corey made?
Corey's made 3. I think Nelson's made 1.
Yeah, but wasn't one of Corey's bloodlines?
Yeah.
With
his children, the Corn cousin?
God. All right. So you had bloodlines. You had
Invasion
for sure, yeah. And then that was the 9x3. And then what was the last one? Vendettas?
Total Madness.
Oh, he made Total Madness. I forgot about that. God, he was winning the final. People forget that.
Interesting. Ace brings up a good point. Nelson beat Corey in the Invasion final.
Nelson beat Corey. Really?
In that 3-way one.
That was an elimination, though. Actually, to be fair, that was a very smart play by Nelson. Like, with Shane and where they were like, oh, let's go to the side and then duke it out, and he just went straight for it.
See, the way I see it is like Corey, I feel like has had some seasons where he's underwhelmed, and I feel like Nelson is typically exceeding expectations. And they all end up pretty similar in terms of their season by season results. But I would say Nelson just kind of does usually better than what he's expected to.
Fair enough. That's fine. I just feel like Corey is that guy. I'm not saying he's going to win a season, but he's that. I feel like he is a consistent 3-4-5 person every season.
Yeah, no, they're both good competitors. Yeah. They're both close.
Okay, that's it.
The one last thing I'll add about Nelson is that, I mean, he's just hilarious. He's an idiot. His confessionals, I mean, he can't put a sentence together.
Yeah, his personality is money. I mean, yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
All right. Let's see. So Nelson. Okay, so this is where we got kind of the top half of the competitors here. We have some differing votes. The next person we have in our rankings is Leroy. So so this might get a little contentious because Andy has Leroy 2 overall. Trevor has him 4, and I had him 8 overall.
All right. I think 8 is a little insulting. I think we can all agree on that.
Do you want me to go first?
Whoa. You had him 8. Who's your 7?
My 7th?
Yeah. If you had him 8, who's your 7?
I mean, I've had all these clowns. Corey, Nelson, Kyle. I added them all above him.
You had Kyle above Leroy.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Here's how I view Leroy, and here's why I ranked him lower on my rankings. I think he
is Will Fuller, who gets hurt every year. Like, I mean,
I think that's part of it, but I think Leroy is now at the point he's done. I want to get this number right so that it helps my case. I think he's done. This is his 11th challenge, and he's never won. And so at some point, it gets to the point where like, you know that he's not going to win. And like you compare it. So like the way I saw it,
Kyle has a better chance than Leroy.
I think he does. Because Kyle has not proven that he can never win a challenge. I think Leroy has. I think Leroy's been around the show long enough where he's proven that he probably will never win a challenge. And I really want him to. Obviously, he's a very likable guy. He's good at the show. I want him to win. But he's been around for so long and done so many that at some point you start to think like this is never going to happen for him.
I think 8 is so disrespectful to him. Andy, I think you rating him 2nd and to hear him go 8, I think that's very disrespectful.
What did you have him at, Trev?
I had him at 4.
So I think he could backpedal into 4. I think 4's the floor for Leroy. Because I don't see him going in. I don't see him getting – I mean, who's going to vote the guy in?
I think you look at I think here's how I look at it. I think Leroy, to me, at 4, or what number are we on right now? Do we have him rated at 5 or 4 as a group?
He's our 5th overall.
See, I think there is a clear-cut top 3. I think we can all agree the top 3 jumping ahead real quick, but moving back. Darrell, CT, and Fez. I think
Really?
those are the top 3 by far. And then there's a little dip. No?
I have Leroy at 2.
Yeah, but
So I don't think so.
I don't know. I think Leroy, great competitor. If he stays healthy, he is a dangerous player to get. He's very quiet. You want to go into elimination with him. I mean, you don't want to bet, hey, I want to go into elimination against Leroy. Who says that?
When was the last season?
It was, I think it was
Worlds 2.
Yeah.
He made the final.
Yeah.
I asked that because, one, to know how he's done in his most recent final, but also because I don't think he's coming back unless he genuinely thinks he's got a shot at winning. Because I don't see him as one of those guys that just wants to stick around. I view him from a mindset perspective, and granted, skill set, not necessarily the same. I view him from a mindset perspective as Darrell.
Mm-hmm.
As if they are not going to be on this season unless they genuinely think they have a shot at winning it. And if Leroy thinks he has a shot at winning it, I see him going very far because I think his floor is very high.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
All right.
8
is disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful. I think he has
Kyle, Nelson, and Corey above Leroy is disrespectful.
If you're asking me to compare my expected finish for Leroy and all of those other guys, I would rank Leroy ahead of all of them. But if you're asking me who I think has a better likelihood of winning it all, I would say all of those guys ahead of Leroy, just because Leroy's proven that he's probably never going to win. And I love Leroy.
All right, well, let's just drop it before we get even more heated.
All right. So we got 4 guys left to cover. Our next one here is CT. So CT comes in at 4th overall. I had him 4th. Andy had him 5th. And Trevor, the notorious CT hater, had CT 2nd overall.
Yeah. And I'll start. Personally, I think I want him gone as fast as possible. Trust me. Everybody knows I'm not a huge CT fan. But if you're looking at it like what Alex said in a game, if he wants to look at Leroy as 8th, I look in that situation with CT in that scenario. 2nd place for him. Who wants to? It's the whole name aspect of CT. Who wants to go against CT? If there's no elimination thing or whatever, he will not see one elimination this year. He won't. He'll make the final easily. Who wants to go against CT? He plays a horrible game, but will still make the final, which makes no sense.
I'm almost certain there was some line thrown in there of there are only 10 skulls.
So 5-5?
I could have sworn I heard that, which I also think was smart because what I think I like what the challenge is doing by that because you can't just skate your way to the final. You have to go in and earn it. But the problem with last season was because you didn't know how many there were, I mean, you could go all the way up until the end and just hope. And yeah, Ace, and Jared are both saying that it is 10, 5, and 5.
Okay.
Now that you know that, I love the fact that they know how many are on the table.
So we can confirm there are It's no bullshit like
it's skulls. So like,
funny, when I think of skulls, the first thing I thought in my head was from Rivals 3, like picking the skulls, and I was like, wait, what are we talking about here? But yes, the skulls from winning the elimination. I get it.
Yeah. So keep that in mind as we're going through this.
I don't know. I just feel like CT, it's just the name or whatever thing. And if he gets a nice elimination, like let's say versus Jay again, I think he would beat Jay again, or beat Jay, not beat Jay again, but beat Jay because it's just CT. He can't lose twice to Jay. Virginia is not losing UMBC twice. Like we all know that, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, CT. He's on my Mount Rushmore of people who've ever seen the challenge.
Here's my question to you. If CT goes in week 1 or week 2 or week 3, so one of the early weeks, into an elimination and wins, will he ever see an elimination again? Until the final.
I mean, it depends what the entire format is, but I would say
let's just say it's let's say it's just like Total Madness, exact same format as that.
I would say probably not, because other people want to get their skulls.
Well, that's going to be the scenario, right? Because
unless there's any aspect of like back in the day when you used to take someone else's pool of money that they accumulate. I mean, I get what you're going for, but I think CT at 2 is a bit high. I just do.
I did not want to put him at 2. Like in my prediction, I will put him literally like 8. I always put him low because I think like if he enters an elimination, I could see him lose. It's just if he gets an easy elimination, nobody wants to go against him. It's just a cakewalk for him.
I think CT routinely now has the best, if not the second best, likelihood every season of making it 10 episodes or so, just because that's his game. That's who CT is. And he's another guy where he is kind of up and down. Yeah, you know, last season he went home very early, so you would think that this season he's gonna make it to the final, make it close to the final, which is what he usually does. I mean, I'm not the biggest CT fan overall. I think his shtick has kind of gotten old at this point. He's done, I think that now without Bananas, he's the most seasoned veteran on the show. And I think we know who CT is. He's probably going to make it pretty far.
Yeah. So 3.
All right. So we got 3 left here. I think it's going to get a little contentious now.
As if it hasn't already.
So we have 3rd overall for us. We have Wes. Trevor had Wes 6th overall. Andy had him 3rd, and I had him 1st overall.
Wow.
So I'll go first. My reasoning for putting Wes at number 1, again, I think you can put at 5 people at number 1 and make a pretty good argument. The reason I started with Wes is because you look at the veteran guys, there's 3 of them, Wes, CT, Darrell, who have ever won. So I kind of start with that as a baseline between those 3. And I just think I feel the way I describe it is like watching week to week. I feel the most comfortable week to week knowing that Wes, more than anybody else, has a plan. Wes always has a plan. And so it's like, if you ask me, on tonight's episode, is Wes going to get eliminated? I always lean no, just because he always has a plan. He has a way out. He has people on his side, and he's a good enough competitor. If you look at his little, since he's come back on the challenge after taking a few seasons away, his first one on War of the Worlds, he killed it. I think he was one of our MVPs for the season. He finished 3rd overall to Turbo and Theo. I mean, he dominated that season. He sent Bananas home early. War of the Worlds 2, he kind of got sick. He got knocked out by Bear. And then Total Madness, him and Bananas went against each other. In this little second win of Wes in his career, his challenge career, I've just been impressed by overall. And I think he always you would have to say he's the smartest one out of all the cast, just because most of them are idiots and Wes is a smart guy. And so I would that's just kind of everything that led to my number 1. He's won a season. He's smart. You know that he's always going to have people on his side, and he's going to have something planned out weeks ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I like Wes. I mean, I think he's a very manipulating person. I just think it's just I worry about that slow decline that he's had. You look at the past seasons, and that's what worries me. And I think a lot of these players in the game now, I mean, obviously besides the rookies, has solved him out. Like they know what he's all about. They know he's, how he plays the game and stuff like that. So that's why I had him kind of lower. The one interesting thing I want to bring up is I like to see what he does with Lolo Jones in this game. Will he utilize her? Because I'm trying to remember how they weren't that close. I mean, they were close, but not little Romeo close. But in Champs vs. Stars. But I'm curious to see if he uses that because, I mean, she's coming into the game. She only knows, CT and West. Was Darrell on that season too? I don't think so, was it?
Yeah.
He was. Okay, so Jarrell too. So I mean, she knows like if she wants to team up with a group of vets, she has a really strong alliance. It's just how will that work out?
Who she chooses, yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys are both saying, even though you guys had them ranked a little differently. Ace in the chat brought up a good question that we actually talked about earlier, saying, I wonder whose DMs West slid into. So I think I'm sure that's happening at this point. So both of you are thinking that between CT, Trev, your point of him, if he gets his goal, he's probably going to make it to the end. That's more based on people liking him. I don't disagree with that. But Alex's point of like if West can somehow punch his ticket early, I also think he's probably safe, but I think it's because he has a plan. And I think it's because regardless of what's thrown his way, what sort of twists come up, what sort of alliances are formed, I mean, the only time that I can think of that West has had an alliance that has lost to another alliance has been the absolute buzzsaw of Mr. Beautiful Kenny Santucci. And Kenny ain't coming back this season and maybe never, which is a damn shame. But I do think that West always is thinking 3 steps ahead of all these jokesters, whether it be veterans or rookies. And I think he will always put himself in a very good position to do well. But I do think that if he goes up against – I mean, him going up against Bananas, and granted, I think Bananas is the best to ever played the game. If West goes up against one of the other veterans somehow, some way, like if he goes up against not even a Darrell, but against like a Leroy or trying to think who else like there could be. Maybe, I mean, if you throw Darrell in there as well, CT, for example, if CT and West somehow go off against each other, similar to how Bananas and West did, I'm taking CT in an elimination.
There's so many what ifs this season. Like we don't know how the Nets are going to act with each other. So
yeah, but I mean I had West. I think I had him at 3. I did. So I met right in the middle of you guys. So I think West. I mean he's always going to be a guy that's going to go far in this game and do well. So I think it'd be good. Be curious to see what happens.
All right, so we got only 2 guys left here. The next one on our list, second overall, is Fessy. So Trevor had him 3 overall. I had him 2. Andy had him 4. So all kind of right in the middle there. I mean, I think Fessy, obviously we're all very high on him. So I don't think we need to debate, whether or not he's going to do well on this season or not. I think Fessy's just a good competitor. The reason why he went up so high up in my rankings, and feel free to agree or disagree, is just based off of his most recent performance. I mean, so much of my kind of rankings were like, what have they done recently and how recent was it? And his most recent season was last season, and he was 3rd overall for the guys, I think, maybe 4th. But I mean, he was the most impressive rookie the entire time. He's big, he's strong. He played college football at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. So I mean, he's just, and I don't know. I mean, and obviously it's kind of different now because he has somewhat of a target on his back because people know he's good. But I mean, we're all high on Fessy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it exactly how I would. I mean, I think he's going to be I hope to see him for multiple seasons, on and on. I think he's a beast. Like, I think do you think he could be a younger, like, I mean, obviously not as wild or anything, but like a younger version of CT?
See,
maybe.
And just I'll say something real quick is that I think the one, not necessarily a downside because it has nothing to do with how he is as a competitor, is just his personality. He's very mellow. He doesn't cause drama. So, like, for example, I think if Fessy, for some crazy reason, goes home early this season, he loses some fluke elimination, I think there's a decent chance you never see him back just because he didn't really cause any drama on the first season. And obviously, that's what so much of the show is about. So I think, his competitiveness and what he is as a challenger was able to bring him on to this season. So I just hope that like he's able to either show something from that standpoint or at least last long enough to like and do well enough to be asked back again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we all like Fessy. I think he's beast. The only two knocks I have against him, I would like to see him do it again. He had a very good rookie season. Do it again to prove that you belong in the – and granted, I put him up here as well, but I think you have to prove your success a couple times to be in the same conversation as the Wesses, the Durrells of the world.
Yeah.
But again, I had him this high. I think the only thing that could hurt him potentially is if those other guys that we have towards the top of our list, once it gets down to, the 7, 6, 5 guys left, and there's maybe, the Nam Vo or the Leo Rushes, and they've already knocked off Devin, Josh, the Young Bucks. Once they knock those guys off, I think the older guys view Fessy as a real threat, which I think we all agree they should, and they would throw him in before they get to a final. I think that would be the only thing that could come back to bite him is it's very known that he is a threat now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He's got the target on his back. That's always tough for a good rookie performer.
Yeah. So, numero uno.
So, obviously, our last person that we haven't talked about yet is Durrell. He's our overall number one. I'll start with this one first because Trevor and Andy.
Where did everyone rank him?
So, yeah, Trevor and Andy both had Durrell number one overall. I had him 3 overall. Again, I was tight between those first 3 spots. I easily could have gone with Durrell number one. I'm a big fan of Durrell. I think it's interesting kind of how his career has gone because you think about he won his first 4 seasons, and that was back in the fucking 2 eras before this, like where big teams were winning, 10 people were winning every time, and then he punched Brad's eye socket in. He went home on Fresh Meat 2, and then he came back for Invasion, and he did well, but he lost in that stupid not one. And then Dirty 30 was a purge, and this is his first season back since then. So I think he's now 4 for 8 overall, even though he won his first 4. So he won his first 4, didn't win his next 4. I would love to see Durrell get a 5th ring. I mean, he's a great competitor. The only thing is, how does his age fit in? Being away from it again. I think last time we asked the same question on Invasion when he took a few seasons away, and I think the answer to that question was he's still got it. And now that same question though is there. Does he still have it? And I think he probably will. I think he'll do fine. But that's just kind of the one thing that I was thinking.
Yeah, and I think best way to answer this question real fast, why I ranked him number one is kind of exactly what Andy said earlier. Durrell would not be coming back if he did not think he was in shape or anything like that. And I think that's how you look at it. I mean, you take 4 seasons, 5 seasons off or whatever to come back, you have to be locked in. You're not going to be, drinking or whatever, not doing anything like that. You were questioning like Teresa and stuff. Like Durrell is locked in. And I personally think this is his season to lose. I feel like he is the top dog. I think he will win this season. So
I agree. I think this is his any sort of professional basketball player announces this is their last year. They go out with a bang. This is his kind of victory lap. I think it's because he thinks he's going to get the dub. And I think he's going to get one last season, one last championship, right off into the sunset. And in my opinion, go down as one of the best that's ever done it. I mean, he's right up there with Bananas for me. Bananas is obviously Bananas, but I mean, you look at Durrell's success rate of the challenges he's been in, and I don't think that's been tapped. Aside from Mr. Beautiful, maybe. I don't know those numbers exactly, but I do think, to your point, Alex, not something that you left out in terms of the volatility of his seasons. When he went out in Fresh Meat 2, I'm pretty sure he was the first one out. And that was Cara Maria. That should have been a final team punch their ticket week 1, and he was the first one gone. So
I was gonna say, Andy, if you look at Fresh Meat 2 over again, where would you rank if this was this season, Fresh Meat 2 just over again? Where would you put Cara and Darrell? Number 1 has to be, right?
No, not number 1.
Oh, well, we know who's gonna put it behind. Relax, but
Gideon Laurel's the best team ever assembled, besides maybe Evan and Coral. Fresh Meat 1. I mean, Laurel
really hurt or anything during that season, though, right?
No, but you're right, Trev. I mean, you got to put those two at least top 3, minimum.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I look at like a Darrell-esque player. For me, every season that he's on, he is a top 4 guy, regardless of anything. Like, he could be partners with, I don't even know, Jessica McCain or whoever, and I would still take them in the top 4. No?
I mean Jessica.
Darrell's a beast. And I think one thing that's interesting about the season, going back to Fresh Meat 2, is how he and Wes are going to be. Because, Fresh Meat 1 was when Darrell was sending Wes in. Fresh Meat 2, Wes knocked out Darrell first episode. This is their first challenge they've done together since then. I mean, again, could we all agree on the fact that – so I know I didn't have Darrell number 1, but if you're in our rankings – but if you're asking me one guy that you're rooting for the most, like to win, I would say Darrell.
I would say Darrell 1, Leroy 2, 100%.
Yeah.
Guys.
So
for girls, I would say Teresa. I want Teresa to grab the ring.
Yeah.
So
I think you're spot on with that. I mean, Darrell's just a beast. I mean, he's one of the best that's ever played. And going through the list of guys, even like Fessy, I take Darrell in a one-on-one against anyone for any challenge, period. Whether it's mental and you're going against Devin, I take Darrell. If it's physical and he's going against Fessy, him and CT both possess that dad strength that you can't get from a gym. You can't get from the coaches out at University of Tennessee. But I think he just has that underlying ability, Chattanooga, for him to be able to, if he squares up against Fessy in a hall brawl, he's got that look in his eye. And he's going to say, buddy, I don't care if you ran a 4.8 and you could do 225 by 25 pounds in your uninvitation to the combine. I'm running you over. That's what I think Darrell brings to the table. I think his competitiveness is unmatched.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've all said it. I think he is the top for the guys, 100%. And I'm excited to see what he brings to the table.
Agreed. So one question that Ace just brought to the attention, similar along what we just said, who wins a pole wrestle between Darrell or Fessy?
Wait. Should we all think of our answers? And then go around, see what we got, who the majority is. I think I know mine.
I got mine.
I personally think you want me to go first? Or should we just do it all 1, 2, 3, we all say it?
I would go Darrell.
God, well, obviously, I would go Darrell because it's the lower ground.
I would go Darrell as well.
He's smarter. He's older. He's wiser.
Yeah, I don't think you can give me a matchup or an elimination that I'm not picking Darrell. I don't.
I would go. I would
be the beast.
I would take CT over Darrell in a not so fast challenge.
Oh, Jay kicked his ass last season.
Not so fast, not through the jungle gyms and stuff. I would take CT. CT is an Eagle Scout when it comes to tying those knots.
We'll get into that.
So I guess that's everybody though. We've kind of gone through everyone.
Yeah.
So who do we have as our number 1 guy, number 1 girl?
All right. So our number 1 girl is Tori. Number 1 guy is Darrell. I'll just recap the order for the guys real quick. This is our average rankings, just for the veterans. From worst to first, we got Josh, Devin, Jay, Kyle, Corey, Nelson, Leroy, CT, Wes, Fessy, Darrell.
All right.
I like it.
It's
So
going to be interesting to see, like, because I would like to see, as soon as we see the format of the game, how much it's going to change. Because God knows it could literally be it could be cutthroat for all we know. We don't know. I would actually love a cutthroat with, like, you could switch teams and shit like that. I would love that.
Yeah.
So let me ask both of you this question.
Go ahead.
So I know we talked about the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously power ranked the vets. Who would you pick as the one rookie, both guys and girls, as the highest or the most likely to make a run? And I know we don't know. I mean, they're rookies. They come from shows that we've never heard of, some of them. But who would be the one, you know, after looking at everything and thinking about it, you think, you know what, this guy and this girl could cost?
I guess if you're talking about, then again, this is the rookie term or whatever. But for girls, it's Lolo for me, 100%. But like what I've been hearing from everybody, another dark horse or whoever is that Survivor girl. What's her name?
Natalie.
Yeah, she could be a dark horse. I just don't know, you know, with her. But you know, everybody's saying, you know, she's a top dog. So let's find out. So guy wise, I don't see anybody rookie wise guy.
I would say like Ace. I would say for the girls, either Lolo or Natalie. Probably I would go Lolo just because I know her. I've seen her on the show. And then I think with the guys, for any rookie, I think it comes down to basically what you look like, you know, how physically, you know, in shape you look, just like looking at the cast photos. And for guys, based off that, I think I would go Nam Vo just because he looks pretty strong. And like, yeah, obviously every season, you know, has those few rookies that make it pretty far, make it to the final most of the time. So there's a good chance that, you know, the names we're talking about are going to go really far. So if I'm going girl, I would go Lolo. Guy, I would go Nam.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Lolo and Nam. I think Nam looks pretty impressive. I'm hopeful, and I also think Lolo's a beast. I'm hopeful as like a secondary. You know, I want them to be threats as well. I really want Leo Rush to bring something to the table. A WWE wrestler. He's got to be in shape. You know, something that could be like the old Corey popcorn muscles, but it's at least something. And then I do think Natalie could also be a very good competitor as well. But my two are also going to be Lolo and Nam.
Got it.
All right.
Anything else? We good to wrap this baby up?
I mean, I think we're good. That was what we wanted to do, was do a one by one of the cast. I don't know about you guys, but like in terms of our recaps or our episodes that we do from the podcast, I think this is usually one of my favorites, you know, just because when you get in the middle, you know, episode recaps, they all kind of blend together. The first one is always good. The finale recap's always good. But this, you know, the season preview, just get those juices flowing again, get that excitement up. I think we got a good recap here, or a good preview here.
Yeah, for sure. So
for sure.
Basically, how the season's going to work, I think me and Alex, at least, hopefully Andy gets on every episode as well, but for sure we will be live after every episode, just like this. We will also have a podcast come out as well the following morning or maybe the following day. TBD, still kind of working everything out. But we will be live, should be normally challenges on 9 to 10:30 or 8:30 to 10 Eastern or whatever. Should start about 10-15 minutes after the episode airs, and we should be on for about 70-60 minutes, and we'll just kind of be doing the same thing. You guys ask questions, we'll get you guys involved. Hopefully in the future, send out a few links to people. They can just hop in and can have a conversation with them as well.
So one last thing before we wrap here, boys. Ace just sent one last question in the chat that I do think would be interesting for us to just touch on just briefly. I don't think we get super into it. but he said at this point in time, if you could pick a challenge team membership of one guy and one girl, who would it be? And I know in one interview way back when with the great TJ Lavin, before, what was it, Rivals 3, he had said Bananas and Sarah. And obviously, I mean, TJ is just amazing at what he does. Ended up happening, and they were the best team maybe that we've ever seen. But at this point in time, who would you take if you get one guy, one girl?
Just from this season or all time?
I mean, your call.
Well, I mean, we kind of said it.
Let's do this season just to give some sort of, structure around it. But this season, if let's say it's a one guy and one girl pair up, who's the best team that you could make from this season?
I would say Wes and Lolo. I think you have the physicality as a group. You have Wes calling the shots politically. And Lolo's proven to be a good physical competitor. I don't know if I'm making my own team out of this cast, I would say Wes and Lolo.
Interesting.
For the girls, I'm leaning towards Teresa. As Kenny would say, I want the tall chick in the back. So I would pick her. I don't know, guy-wise, who would match up. Like, you could say Darrell, but Darrell could go with anyone, I feel like. I think Teresa and CT is a dangerous team.
So who you got?
I'll go those two then.
Teresa and CT?
Yeah.
So I'm going to people that haven't been said yet, and they were our
free agents basketball. Come on, you got to keep those vibes going together.
They were our combined number 1 and number 1. Darrell and Torrey would steamroll anyone.
Yeah, but if Darrell got a little too close or whatever, Jordan would be on a flight, and he might be a mercenary or something.
So we did get a clarification. So we got our teams out there. Ace did say that's not what he was asking. But if you could pick one partner for yourself, you pick one girl to be your partner, one guy to be your partner of all time, who are you going with?
Girl's easy. Emily, 100%.
I think I'm going Laurel.
I think Emily, dude, I don't know.
They're so similar.
They're so similar. I think it's got to be down to one of those two. Truthfully, I think it's kind of personal preference. If there's what?
Tall chick in the back.
Exactly what they both are. But
Andy's girl, tall chick in the back, his guy pick, Mr. Beautiful. So, I mean, spoiler alert for everyone.
Yes. Ooh, Jared just chimed in. Evelyn.
I think Evelyn's very good. I think she slept on, and Coral's even slept on.
Is that for picking a male competitor or a female?
Evelyn is good. I think sometimes, if she's going against a friend or something like that, she could throw a challenge or something maybe. I mean, it's not like that's ever happened or anything. But for guys, if I could be teamed up with any guy, just because it would be a shit show and it'd be so fun, there's two people. Tony Raines would be an amazing partner, and Johnny Riley would be an amazing partner. Those would be my two.
So you're not winning a final.
People forget, if you have the Johnny Riley, luck of the Irish, you could make the final without even going in. So.
Yeah, girls wise, I would go Laurel. Guys, I would either go Bananas or Wes.
Bananas would take the money and run from you if that's ever an option, though.
And I'd be fine with that.
I think, Trev, you said it. My pick is easily Kenny Santucci. I think he's not the GOAT because Bananas is the GOAT, but I think Kenny Santucci is just an absolute monster. The perfect male competitor that's ever been a part of the challenge, but not the GOAT. But For girls, I'm taking Laurel.
God, not Emily. Emily's better. I will put that on my grave. Emily is better than Laurel.
We'll get into that.
So, any other questions from YouTube or anything else? Or is that it?
I think I'm good.
All right.
I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the season. Let's go.
2 weeks. So thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. We've had Andy and Alex tonight. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy. Thank you guys.
Love you guys.